All right, guys, Bruce Etcha here. Let's do Coney, Coin and Coney. I got some good charting stuff I want to go over that's looking pretty positive on some patterns, but the obvious elephant in the room is the capping that's going on, right? So you see coin is up 3.56 and we were up 1.10. So maybe a little better ratio wise than Misty and MSTR, but we're obviously capped here. But let's go take a look at it. No new shares, right? The share count's the same, 35,825. So they're not putting on any more shares, nothing really here. So on the weekly, these 3,000 or 30,800 remain the same. You can see here that we were up a little bit and they were up a little more in coin. So we've crested this 250 on a 230, right? So we're clearly in the money and making money on the synthetic, but we're losing 80, 90% of that money with that boat anchor that somebody forgot to pull up from the bottom. And now we're flying in our boat, dragging that anchor through the water with massive resistance. And we just can't get up to speed, right? So our weeklies are destroyed. So what I wanted to do here is I wanted focus on this left chart for a minute and then we'll get to the right. So, and excuse that, when you do a chart and you don't have a higher amount because of where the price is on a year chart, and I said left shoulder, there should be a right shoulder and it should be out here. So what I'm really showing you is what's called in technical analysis is an inverse head and shoulders, IH, because if I put a head up on the top and two shoulders like a person would have, that's a bearish signal, right? We had a left shoulder, we went up and formed a head, and we got a right shoulder. And typically, if you break through the neckline, right, you draw a line across the shoulders, and then you can measure the height of the head to where the neckline is, and that oftentimes when it breaks down is how far it retraces. Well, in an inverse head and shoulders, it's clear that we're going up here, likely going to bounce a little bit, and then it's projecting that we could easily get to 275. So if in fact we get to 275 from 251 over time, then the measured height of this lower head, the 200 to the 275, projects up to 350 because you take 275 from 200, you get 75 added to 275. So that's where the second chart comes in. Again, things have to happen, right? Anything can change, but just kind of based on this momentum and what's going on. And I also, this is one of the few examples. See, um, Mr. MSTR is not that far away. It's been up around 1980, close to 2000. But here, and that wasn't that long ago for MSTR. But if you look at coin, and I had to pull a multi-year chart for this, right? So going back into late 21, it hit, and by the way, this line is through 350. So you have 300, 350, 400. These increments of the big lines, the horizontal lines are at the 50, right? 150, 200, 250, 300. So here we are forming a couple of things. We could be forming a triangle. We could be forming a wedge with a flat line here and a drawn line down here. Anyway, it has high probabilities right now for a bullish breakout. So regardless of how we move up, which kind of matches this, right? So if we move up to the 375, or sorry, guys, I'm jumping ahead of things. Let me do one at a time. So assuming this head and shoulders plays out, we move up to 275. That could happen in a week or two or three. Then that projects, if we keep moving up, okay, to 350. So I wanted to show you on here. And so that goes back to looking at this as a potential inverse head and shoulders. There's a couple of different patterns you can call this. You can also call it a triangle. And so it's like a continuation pattern to the upside. So now we're talking about it does this, then it runs up to 350. Now we're looking at a bigger chart. So guess what? We'd probably set ourselves up. Anytime you get good moves up, so if we go to 250 over some period of time and end up at 350, we then create a much larger inverse head and shoulders, or what's also known as a cup with a handle. So a bigger IHS or cup with a handle. Sorry, I tried to put text in here in this program I'm using. It was too small and then I couldn't erase it, so I just made a bigger one. Apologize for that. So what you're looking at here, this fits into a couple scenarios. This could be a fall scenario in time that we get through and get to 350. Don't know the exact time frame, right? You never know that in a chart formation. And then this handle, it could be a 6-month handle, it could be a 2-month handle, it could be an 8-month handle, it could be a year handle. And what they always say, the longer the base, the bigger the base, which is longer, and the handle, the more upside. So typically these measure just like the other one. You've got a 50 and you've got a 350. So you're looking at 650 for a destination of coin that one could look at BTC and say it's at 150, 175. You know, they don't always correlate. Some of these things outperform other ones, right? I've been in a sector where, you know, take gold and it's really running, and one stock is ready to go into this formation while another's already formed it and ready to take off. So you can be in a bull market in a sector like BTC and have different stocks doing different things within that sector. But the fact that Coinbase has not broken out, even gotten to its old high, whereas it's not going to take MSTR much to get to 2000 if we're moving. I mean, that could happen with 74 in BTC. So if this kind of thing happens, you know, this could be super positive. So try to, you know, those of you that are bullish, stay bullish and understand that, right? Now, Coney is nothing but an income fund. So the way you play it, and if you want income, this says, hey, over time, this thing's going to do well. But on these kind of impulse moves, you don't do as well. This would be a great time again at the 350 scenario going sideways 5 or 10% in that handle pattern. And again, sometimes these just go like this. It could go all the way back to 200 over a year, right? And all it's doing is creating this big cup with a handle and then launch. So I just wanted you to see that firsthand and see. I love to look for recognizable patterns. Will it do that? Who's to say? But there's a probability, there's a percentage. So how do we really look? Okay, on the weeklies, it's ugly, guys. 9%, 10%. Let's go take a look. Thank goodness we're long the synthetic right at 230. So up at 250, we're killing it on the synthetic and we're capped on our calls. So let's take a look at those in holding. So look at this thing. My gosh. Oh, I don't even think I updated it down here. Sorry about that, guys. I did not update this, but right now I'm not going to take your time. I've already taken time on the chart. So we're at 69 million positive, right? Yesterday we were like 42. So we're flying on the synthetic. But look at this. The converse is we would have to pay 68 to buy these back right now. So now you know what I mean by about that boat anchor and dragging it. So the truth is, you don't gain a lot, but I'll take any gain. And that's only this week. Remember, we can reset the stakes for next week. And just like I always do, I like to give you even granular detail. So the 69 stays to 69 if we get to this point. This might erode just a little bit, but those are out to 816 in 3 more days. But this guy is also going to erode. We got about 3 million here that if it just stayed at 251.49 and continued the week, right? But as it stands, we've got a 69.2 paper gain and a 68.1 paper loss, where we've already included 8 million. So the 68 includes everything that we have to spend to remove it, right? So I wanted to make you very much aware of that. And I'm always trying to find ways to show it because I don't expect some of you guys are really sharp and you totally know this. So here we are, right? So the synthetic now has a 69 million paper gain, but we're dragging that boat anchor, right? That weekly call that we've just massively run by. So I don't expect it to get down below those numbers. Could it? That would be awesome. But I'd also like to see it just keep on plugging, right? So this is the time where when you see this, you want to be in something like Conal, CONL, right? The twice coin. Um, but I don't, I'm hesitating to go out and telling you to get that in because we have run, what did we run yesterday and what have we run here? You know, 11% and three, there's 15% that we've moved up. And Misty's done more than that, right? But at least there's an option if we get to a point and we see this kind of chart activity. And I say to you guys, we're gonna, once we would break out above this line on something like this can be a pretty large run. And your income fund, there's just no way for it to keep up. So again, I'm not knocking them. I understand there's a need for them, and I understand why people are in them for income. Just know that sometimes it performs really well, and sometimes it performs average. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys. I'm happy to give you as much as I can in there. And let's look down here at one final. I'll get these updated for you guys. 2003. Whoops, I didn't update this. Jeez, I think I got so into making the charts, to be honest, and I was off making them and preparing them that I just literally didn't update a couple things. So 35,825. This number needs to be updated. I'll at least do that right now for you. 724223870. Okay. Let's see what that gets us. That gets us 2022. Much more reasonable. I'll work on bringing these down to here, but it's important that you see that number. Um, but just think of how you are if that's what you're owning, right? If you were just long, and what if you were 2x for this? But again, you can't always anticipate these. The last thing you want to do is own a 2 times leverage for months and months and months waiting for a breakout because you will get decay. Whereas in these income funds, if you're sitting flat and slightly going down, you're paid to wait for that. But we did really need to move up. And I love seeing these synthetics be in a better situation because guess what? We had a $45 million loss. Well, we got a $69 million gain. Problem is, we could have a 50 or 60 million loss here, right? We're just sort of trading places, but we're going to get paid. We'll get paid over $1, guys. It's all going to work out. So that's what I got for you in Coney. Hope that helps. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great evening and day ahead trading day tomorrow. Bye for now.